Hey, I'm at this job site right now where I recently did a blower door test. A blower door test is a test I do where I depressurize the house to see if I can find any air leaks. And one of the major air leaks I found in this house was this attic access hole. This goes right up into the attic, and when I had the blower door on, I could feel a lot of air rushing in through there. So I know it's pretty leaky. So I haven't even opened this up yet. I'm going to investigate and see what we have and see what I can do to correct this. Okay, right away, I can see that the only thing I had here was a piece of drywall, half-inch drywall resting on this trim. No insulation above it all, and certainly no air sealing. So the insulation is not there, even against it or above it. So there's a lot that needs to be done, but it's going to be a really easy fix. All right, so I'm standing on a ladder now, up in the access here. And you can see that, yeah, it was just a piece of drywall on top of that. That was only insulation. Well, looking around, I see over here, see that piece of insulation right there? I think that actually had been laying on top of this at one time, but it got tossed to the side and never put back down. But that's all that is insulation. It does not air seal anything. So that would just provide an R value, but because of all the leaks, even if it was on top, it would have been doing pretty much nothing. I just thought I would look over this attic. It's a pretty typical attic, fiberglass. I would say it's a pretty good insulation job, but because of things like this, see that wire and this gap underneath it and this gap here, and then over here by this vent pipe. So maybe I would downgrade this from a good job to just a fair job. This insulation works best when it's well done, when it's all packed nice and tight. You don't have all these gaps. And there aren't any possible air leaks coming in this attic. So that's what I'm going to be trying to do today. I'm going to address one of these air leaks, and that's this attic access hole. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build up the sides. I'm going to build up the sides with like a 16-inch high piece of plywood, and then I'm going to insulate that with foam, and I'm going to put a lid on top of this. And then I'm going to actually recommend maybe getting a little more insulation in this attic as well. This is it's a little bit hard to get a video of, but what I've started doing here is I've built these sides up. I've cut a piece of plywood 16 inches high, and I got it right down to the bottom, sitting actually on the drywall down here and up 16 inches. The reason I'm building up like this is because in case we put more insulation in this attic, we want this high so that we can blow or pack fiberglass up this high and not interfere with our access hole. So that's what I'm doing now. And then I'm going to actually cut some foam and put it all around these edges to give it a higher R value. What I'm using is some extruded foam. This is, I think, 1.5 inch thick foam. I like the extruded foam because it's really easy to work with and I guess probably relatively inexpensive. What I'm going to try cutting it with is a taping knife. My taping knives are actually pretty sharp and stiff, and the guy I'm working with suggested I give it a try, so I'm going to try it.
There it is.
Yeah, that actually works pretty well. When I'm done, I've got the foam that I've cut to the height, and I'm just fitting it into this spot here. I'm going to fasten that in, and I'm going to do that around the whole perimeter on the inside here. Then I'm also going to put another piece of this foam on the outside of this opening here. All right, what I've got here is I've got it all boxed in. I actually have the lid on top, but you can see I've got, you know, gaps and things here. I'm going to foam all these gaps, and then I'm going to actually put a gasket on this edge here. And where this lid sits down on top of this box I made, I'm going to put a gasket there. So that's a nice tight fit when it comes down. I've cut the lid to fit the shape so it fits flat against this top edge, flat against this edge here, and then it fits into this little weird little spot I've got going here. So this top edge here, I'm also going to put a gasket. So when this lid is pulled down tight, it'll be a nice seal. And same with that. The same when I put the drywall back on this edge here, I'm going to have a gasket on there to hold that nice and airtight as well. Okay, the foam I'm using is a Loctite tight foam for gaps and cracks. It works really well. I just bought it in this little can here that's kind of a throwaway. I'll probably end up using this whole can in this application though. It does work best if it's held upside down. So the spray nozzle is actually down. Just going to go through and foam all these holes, all these gaps. If I put a little extra on, it doesn't matter. I'm going to let this dry and trim it all off. In other words, this edge right here is gasketed down, and in order to hold it tight, I put these bungees. I got some eye hooks going down to here and up to there, and then down. And even here where the drywall is going to hang on this little edge, I put a gasket. So now I just got to try to fit this piece of drywall up in there, and we're all done with a nice airtight attic access, which hopefully they'll never have to use. This is the gasket I use. It's a foam window seal. It's a peel and stick type gasket. It compresses really nicely. That's what I use around the edge here and also underneath my foam lid. So there we have it. Nice air sealed attic hatch.